Diminishing returns. What are they? Well, imagine that you are going to try and build a computer. You're getting ready to order all of the parts, and then you discover that you have an extra $250 in your budget. Where should this extra money go? You could buy a video card that is twice as expensive, but considering you skimped hard everywhere else, is that the best allocation of your newfound resources? The initial investment in your card got you into the right ballpark, but at this point, even doubling the cost of the part will only improve your performance incrementally. You would do better to spend the money somewhere else, where its effects will be more substantial. Like a sick case. Oh yeah, tight. Get some fog coming out of that. Oh, yeah. Diminishing returns are deeply intertwined with a more familiar law of 80-20, which is the idea that most of your results will come from just 20% of the associated effort. And a lot of energy, 80% of it, will go towards that last 20% of outcome. This is seen nearly everywhere. It's in work environments, home cleaning, our income distribution, and one of the interesting examples is found in mobile games. Most of their revenue comes from a small pool of victims that keep paying for microtransactions. You could alienate everyone but that small group, and your bottom line would hardly notice. Now, a useful application of this idea comes when learning languages. Zipf's law describes the phenomenon wherein elements of a set will order themselves neatly in their distribution. The first, most common element will appear twice as often as the second, 3 times as often as the third, 4 times more than the fourth, and so on and so forth. Take this word distribution for Moby Dick. We see a high usage of a certain number of words and a rapidly diminishing tail after. For any English book, this group of words is essentially guaranteed to be at the top of the distribution. And the same is true for any language, like Arabic, where you see a certain group of words used more commonly than the rest. So, if we extrapolate, and you were to spend your effort learning just 20% of a language, you would be rather surprised with how well you could communicate. And likewise, as you continue learning words, you will see that each additional word doesn't grant you the same utility as the ones learned previously. Developing an awareness of these principles will greatly aid us in allocating our resources in a more effective manner. In particular, we need to appreciate diminishing returns because while early on in a pursuit, a particular method or tactic may aid us, an over-reliance on any method will not yield a linear return. Exercises in music or sport are great for developing a familiarity and coordination, but if we stay with just one drill, we can hardly expect to go pro. Now, this is obvious in the extreme, but often we fall into a milder version without recognizing our detriment. Imagine in any arena, we were to make a list of all of the skills that we could improve, and then set them by order of impact on performance. What we should expect is a Zipfian list of ways to improve. But if we were to look at where we are focusing in our development, would it be those items at the top of the list? Well, probably not. Especially in our own personal hobbies, though often also at our professional craft. We tend to spend time in places where we already have a competency because it's more enjoyable. While we can technically improve here, additional energy spent only gives us incremental improvements. This is not to say that we never need to spend time searching for those incremental improvements. There does come a time when incremental is all that is left. If we believe the law of 80-20, then we know that with the big wins out of the way, we still have 80% of the effort left to finish polishing our project. Deciding how we spend our time is the most important decision that we have to make, and it warrants consideration as to how we can best allocate this resource. All too often, we spend our time in places and pursuits that don't yield adequate returns. And though it may bring more discomfort, we would do better to find areas that allow us disproportionate room to improve.